Okay, so this exercise is don'ts. What is the difference between the don't come and the don't pass and the don't bets behind? Very confusing, right? They all start with don'ts, but yet there are three different bets. So, first and foremost, the point is off. People make a don't pass bet. That means that whatever number this puck goes to, in this case it's the 9, that all your don't pass bets are betting that the 9 will not roll. They are betting that the 7 will roll before a 9. That's it. They can take additional odds. They can lay 2 to win 3 on the 9 on the pass line. So on the don'ts, they have to lay 3 to win 2. Remember, on true odds, everything is opposite. So if I bet 2 and win 3 on the pass line, I have to bet 3 to win 2 on the don't pass. That's how that works. That's the first don't. That is your main don't bet in the game. Don't pass means they're betting against the point. Don't come. Don't come is starting all over. Think about what wins. On the pass line, 7-11 wins, 2-3, 12 loses. On the don't pass, 2-3 wins, 12 pushes, 7-11 loses. The exact same rules apply to this. Why? Because this is a come out roll for this bet. Same thing if there's a come bet. It's a come out roll for them. 7-11 wins, 2-3, 12 loses. 2-3 wins, 12 pushes, 7-11 loses. It is just the opposite, just like a pass line and don't pass. But we need to understand when these rules apply. Pass and don't pass are the initial number, which is the point. Betting against the 9, pass line is betting on the 9. Come and don't come. Comes are going to go to the number, which in this case, let's say an 8 rolls. What's the stick call? 8 easy 8. No field, we would lock up our field. Don'ts and comes travel to the 8. So now this is a come out roll for them. Their point is 8. Comeback goes to the 8. Well, we don't have multiple pucks on the game, so we have to visualize that this bet right here is now betting on the 8, and this bet is betting against the 8. So just imagine a point. So if this is the don't, and this bet is betting on the 9 on the pass line, come bet is the exact same, betting on the 8. This bet is betting against the 9. They're betting on the 7. This bet is exactly the same. They're betting on the 7, hoping that the 8 does not roll. Both of these bets are the exact same as these two bets. But you have to be able to distinguish that the initial two bets, pass and don't pass, are on the original number, 9. Comes and don't comes are betting on whatever number rolls next. It could be any one of the numbers, and they will go behind and on the number, and then they can take and lay odds just like they would if they were betting a pass line. Why? Because we don't have the room to separate it like a pass line, 5 or 10 odds what the pass line would be with the line here. So we put them on top, correct? Same thing on the don't. We bridge it. We try to save as much room as we can. That way if it hits, I know it just pays 20 bucks. Why? If I stacked it up, it was a come bet. I would size into it and cap it. Same thing here. Same exact apply. I would just pay it like that. Same thing with my come bet. Now, what is the third version of the don't? Don't bet behind wins. Why? Because they went through the don't come earlier on before the 8, the 9 was established. Their money went behind the 10 and they laid odds. When does this bet win? On a 7 out. All your don't bets behind are new points. If they're on the come bets all the way across, they're betting that all of these numbers will roll. If they're betting behind the don'ts, against all the numbers, they're betting that the 7 will roll. Because if a 10 rolls, this bet loses. If a 7 rolls, this bet wins. Why? Their point is 10. It has nothing to do with any of this or this. 10 before 7. That's what this don't bet wants. If it's a come bet player, they want the 10 before the 7. So if the 10 rolls down behind, right, we take our don'ts and we pay our dues. They win on the come bet, they lose. If for some reason the 7 rolls, they lose, they win. We stack up don't comes, and don't comes go in, the don't comes go here. So the don't pass is betting against the point. The don't come is betting to establish a new point, and the don't behind is already established, and they're betting that whatever number that money went to, just like the 8 and the 10, these two bets win if a 7 rolls. If an 8 rolls or a 10 rolls, these bets lose. They don't lose at the same time. So if the 8 rolls, this one loses. If you hear down behind, we don't pick everything up. Try to not get in that habit, because if we have 3 or 4 different numbers and they all have different odds, and you're breaking in and you're trying to understand all of this, because it's a little bit confusing. We have 3 sets of don'ts, and you're all ready. You're sitting here, you're psyched, you're ready to go. And 8 easy 8, no field, corner red, down behind, and we do that, and everything goes right to our working stack. Now we have a fiasco on our hands, correct? So the only one we pick up is the number that rolls. So all these other bets would remain. So it's down behind, only on the number that rolls. The only way these numbers can lose is individually. When they're betting, just like the pass and don't pass can only individually win or lose on the 9, only on the 10, only on the 6, only on the 5. So that basically means if you hear the player say 8 easy 8 down behind, no field, corner red, don'ts, and comes, travel to the 8. And it's, remember your poem, down behind, the field, 68 old timers coming to place bets. If you learn that poem, you'll never have to suffer with it. And we'll get into that in a future video. But individual numbers when they're betting behind. Individual number betting against the point. Don't come, totally new come out roll for them. They are basically betting that a 2 or 3, they get paid. 12, they get a push. 7, 11, they lose. No different than this or this. All of your don'ts, but you have to know when. 7 out, this bet wins, this bet loses. This bet wins. So you have 3 don'ts. 7 out, 7, line away, pay the don'ts, last come get some, pay behind. What does that mean? Pay the don'ts, last come get some. If there's a come bet, we pay it. Why? Because it's a come out roll for them, right? 7, 11, they win. Pay behind. This loses, this don't loses. Why? Because it's a new come out roll for them. They win on a 7-11, they lose on a 7-11. Pay behind. I pay all my behind bets, whatever they are, right? Now, these are all the same player. So once they win, how do we pay all this? We stack it up, color for color. Work. This is the only time we work away from the box. We work our way straight into the don't come, one big stack, or you can leave it separate color for color. I like to put the highest denomination on top. Lights out, we're coming out, and I clean up my area. That's how don't bets work. Learn to distinguish. Remember, you have 3 don't bets. Learn what each one means. Come out roll once a point's established, and betting against whatever number that money went to. And if you can do that, you'll see that the don'ts are not as confusing as they seem. You just have to practice and keep working on which one is which. And I promise you, as you do your poem and you do your pay and take order, it'll make more sense.